So, hello, dear friends. We are happy to see you all here. Please join our Not a Bug workshop where we will share really useful experiences, examples of how to find out if it is bug or not bug. And while everybody is joining, I would like all of you to take your smartphones and scan the code that you see on the screen, or just proceed to menti.com and enter the code. So you could communicate with us, interact with us, and participate in quizzes. And let's wait for a few minutes. So I really hope that more people will join. And let's maybe just have a little talk. Charlie, Bruna, hello. Nice to see you here. How are you today?
Hello, Irina. I'm doing really good. Can't wait to the workshop. It's the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Same here, same here. Thank you, Ina. Hi, Bruno. Well, life is good, and I always enjoy workshops and people asking us questions, test us. It's one of my favorite parts of working with TestIO, by the way.
Oh yes, me too. I like those workshops, and I really like to see comments in our live chat. By the way, dear users, dear participants, the chat is available for you. And if you have any questions on something that you would like to discuss with us, please feel free to write it in our live chat. And now, let me ask you about how do you feel today? You may enter anything you want. So, I'm feeling great. This is my response. Oh, somebody is sleepy. Yeah, I'm also a bit sleepy, but still feeling
Okay,
great.
Yeah,
too
always.
too early.
Amazing, happy. Cool. Oh, somebody is also feeling great in the chat. Normal, quite good to feel normal, fine. Yes, Marcus always says
Normal is good.
normal is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Motivated.
Ooh, that's
Cool.
good.
Mm.
That's good. And our next question. Do you know the difference between a bug and a feature? So, what is bug and what is not a bug? What is a feature? Please select your answer.
Mm.
Somebody is
Mm.
not sure. Somebody maybe doesn't know what does it mean bug, what does it mean feature. Oh, yeah,
Mm.
we see experienced people here who know. Claudia answered, also. Well, I expected some more answers about not sure and of course.
At least there's
There
no
it is. Yes.
no. There's none of no.
Oh yeah. So all testers know what does it mean bug. A bug. Okay guys. So I really hope that we could help you today to distinguish this difference between bug and not a bug, and Charlie and Bruno will help us. So we will start with what is not a bug by Charlie, and then Bruno will show practical examples, and we will have quizzes. So stay tuned with us, and Q&A session introduced by Charlie at the end. Feel free to ask your questions also in live chat, and I'm giving the word to Charlie. Please, Charlie, your turn.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, so what is a bug? I think before starting to what's not a bug, it's important to get back to what is a bug exactly, or at least close to that. And a software bug, this is our definition, the general definition. Superbug is an error, flaw, or fault in a computer program that causes it to produce an incorrect or unexpected result or to behave in unintended ways. And we intentionally added this month the first bug report, or the first bug reported in the testing history. And as you know, this month is outside, is something outside the system. And this is exactly where it means what's about. It's outside the idea, the implementation, the concept behind any component, any element, any website, any app. And then with that idea, we know that it's something that is foreign, it's something that is outside the what we are testing. So with that in mind, let's continue, please. So here are some characteristics of bugs. The first one is reproducibility under same conditions. For instance, you found it and you can reproduce it over and over. Even after some days, you can reproduce a bug. That's why team leaders ask for, can you reproduce it? Is it reproducible? That's why also we have the feature bug reproductions, because from one side, it doesn't mean that positive reproductions are telling that this is indeed a bug, not necessarily, but it clearly gives to the customer and to team leaders, to us, an idea that this is a bug because it's reproducible under some conditions. And you know, these reproductions also um, tell to customers that how spread is this problem. For instance, it's only happening on macOS, or it's only happening on Windows, just Android. You know, this kind of information is crucial in web development. The second characteristic is deviation from requirements. So we have uh, contradictions with documentations, but less for us, documentation means features or user stories. As what the features are telling us how they thought it should work, the feature under testing. So, you know, as we started, is something outside that. So that's most likely a bug. Third, unexpected behavior produces results that are logically unexpected. Again, also outside that was planned, that was expected. So we have already three characteristics of bugs. And the last one, probably the most evident, is the impact on functionality. Something, the button we cannot trigger, we cannot access, something that completely blocks or prevents users from using the functionality as it was intended. So with these four characteristics, reproducibility, deviation from requirements, unexpected behavior, but then completely blocking users from using a functionality. If you identify these four, you are on a bug. You have found it. Next, please. So some examples, just very short examples, because we have examples with Burner, and the QA is really interesting. So some simple examples: the application crashes when a specific button is clicked, calculation errors, data loss, corruption. You know, like this a specific. We have this bug on the spreadsheet, bug assessment sheet, that is, you you are on your account, you log out, and then you click the browser back button, and when you get back, you see your information there visible. That's indeed a bug, and this kind of security vulnerabilities, this is the last example, are also not expected, not desirable, and clearly far from how browsers are built nowadays, and also from a website. A website must say ensure that users' information is secure. Next, please, Irina. Now let's jump on in what's notable. So Notabug refers to behavior that, while potentially surprising or undesirable to some users, is actually working as designed or specified. So remember before, we have some documentation, some idea of how it should work. And then when we integrate it with a functionality, it works. But then we have what is not a bug is completely what is outside. So it's outside because it doesn't work, because it's not giving the outcome expected. So not a bug is something that leads us to what the idea of a functionality uh, is, what was expected to happen, even though it's weird, it's odd, it's just why this is like this. And we have some examples of that, but please remember, it works probably differently than many other websites, perhaps most of them, but it works. So if it works, it most likely not a bug. So next, please. Characteristics of non-bugs, also four. So we make them with this just four, we can remember them and put them to practice. So the first one is misunderstood or requirements. This is one of the examples that I was saying. It works, but it is not working as many other websites or functionality, similar functionality in other environments. So example, the wish list. Users can wish list items by clicking the heart button, very common. And then we expect that clicking on the same button will unwish list, will remove it from the wish list. That's a good expectation. That's an idea. That's a really better user experience that not enable it. But wish listing by clicking on the button doesn't imply that the opposite will happen, but when clicking twice, because both programmatically in the software, in the code, they are completely separate implementations, separate code, most likely to make it manageable, make it scalable. So it doesn't mean, in this case, most websites offer the option of click to wish list, click to remove it from the wish list, but others, they don't do that. They provide the remove from the wish list on the wish list page. So you can see the difference between a bug and not a bug. The functionality exists. It's possible to remove an item from the wish list, but it's implemented differently. Probably not the best way, but it is implemented and exists. So that's why it's more important. Second, user experience issue. For instance, clicking the logos website doesn't navigate the users back to the home page. We all went through the onboarding, and this is classic there. We have one of the questions is if clicking on the logo, nothing happens. Well, some websites implemented like that. If you are anywhere on the website, you can click on the logo and navigate to the home. But that's not a rule. That's not that is not a standardized. So you expect to move from anywhere to the home by clicking on the website logos website, but it's not working some websites. And also, whatever the reason is, it could be design. It's not necessary. Probably the website is not big enough to have such a shortcut. So this is another thing we should try to compare what is available, what is before our eyes, what we are testing, what is what our expectations are, and then compare to what is happening, and then we can realize, oh, okay, probably this is something I like, but it's not. I cannot find it here, so probably it's not implemented. Platform-specific behaviors. This is classic. Not being able to switch from functional happens on our platform to visual or content box. And that's like, I have seen that question on test chats over and over. There's also a suggestion. And but because of the architecture of our platform, that's not possible. So it could be easy because we can select functionalities for functional bugs, but we cannot switch it from one type to another. So we think, oh, but I can do this. Why I cannot do this? Well, that's how it is designed. It is not possible. Just observe that these three options is telling us that something is different but exists and is implemented differently. Performance within acceptable ranges. Oh, well, this is more related to performance or to how engines work, how browsers work, most likely. But and sometimes it takes too much time. We understand that, but this is more related to performance. Where it's important here is, and we let it here because depending on how the website is being designed, some functionality takes more time to download to the browser for you to use. So perhaps we are clicking too fast. We are expecting to see all visible buttons and tags, and we being able to click and do everything, but that's not the case for all websites. So we should better first let the browser load the entire page, and second, try a couple of times to see if a button is triggering, and that's quite important for testing, for our type of testing, which is manual exploratory testing. Next, Irina, please. Key points to remember: not a bug doesn't always mean the software is perfect. It might indicate errors for future improvement. And if you find this future improvement as a best way to improve, to enhance the website, that clearly leads us to usability suggestions. No bug. This is, if something can be better, that is not a bug. And if you find yourself describing something that is could be, should be, it's better if do this, that's clearly in the wording is clearly telling you this is more like a usability. So that's just another trick I developed when testing, and it was okay. Why I'm describing something that is happening on the screencast as something that is not, because an expectation is not happening. So when I understood the difference, I thought, oh, okay, this is now it's easier for me to understand what is a bug and what is not, what is a bug and what is a usability suggestion. The second key point is understand that not-a-bug scenarios is crucial for efficient testing. So that's why these examples of removing from a wish list an item by a second click on the icon, that's definitely not a bug scenario. You can also find not bug scenarios on the bug assessment spreadsheet, where there is bugs, but there are also no non-bugs, and with those you can build. You can have an idea of what scenarios can be misleading at first, but then with experience, with trying out, you will find out that it's easier to see them, and with that to see bugs. By the way, yes, thank you, Rina. So how to distinguish bugs from not bugs? And here are some techniques I want to share. Also, these are very short for us to recall, because too much information on the internet. You have now ChatGPT to help you out, but if you have four manageable ideas, I think it's better for us to build up like a building blocks, for testing. So first, thoroughly review requirements and specifications. For this, I refer to what the test scope is, what is the purpose of this test, which is in the first part of the test description, what they wanted to achieve with the test. Second, understanding the context and user expectations. The context, this means if where are you testing? What is supposed to happen? What are the connections between features, between pages? The most the best example of this is searching. When you search, uh, when we search, we just not search, test the search feature. We test actually three connected features. Well, the first one is the search, which is implemented by algorithm. The second one is if it's implemented, because this is another non-bug, search result, suggestions list, because sometimes it's not provided. So we expect to enter a keyword, just input something and see some suggestions. That is sometimes is present and sometimes it's not, because it's not a bug. It depends on the design, depends on the website. So, but let's assume it is. So we have first search, the keyword that will trigger the algorithm and run it, and then we have a search suggestion list. And then at the end of whatever two options, whatever the flow is, by keyword or a suggestion, we go to the search results page. And those three are separate features tested together. So that's what I'm referring for context. Understand the context and what's supposed to happen when you are testing them. Third, consultant test feature description and user stories, because these are telling us what is supposed to be no, design, what's supposed to happen with the specific features. And this is the power of user stories. It's telling you how the customer has designed this website or whatever is under testing. So based with that in mind, okay, now I can go there and test and compare what is happening with the feature story, the user story, and the feature we are testing. And lastly, if of course we don't have much outside our experience, the test scope, which we discuss in extent in the first workshop, we will share later. But outside that, we have another person, another experienced, most likely was another tester who knows more about the website, about the customer. So we can ask them. So you go to the test chat and ask your team leader, the team leader of the test, what's supposed to happen when clicking there. Is it the thing with is it a bug? This is really misleading, because we need to see it, because everything is context. Both are context related, as I mentioned in the other workshops. So better not ask if this about, but what is supposed to happen with XYZ functionality. That's much that would give you more information from team leader than asking, is this a bug or not? Is this a bug? The answer could be yes or no. But if you ask, what is supposed to happen with this bug? What is supposed to test with the user story X? So then the team leader will elaborate, and you will have a lot of way more information to work on, to test away. So lastly, Irina, please, before we start the examples with Bruna. So takeaways: context is crucial. What seems like a bug at first glance may be intended functionally, most likely, and how to tie up this with the rest. Well, depending on if you are describing what is in the actual result, that's something that it should be like this, or it's better if happens that way. So you are describing, and it's a preference, it's a usability, it's not describing how the functionality was intended. Always refer back to the specifications and requirements. For this, we are referring to features, test scope, the goal of this test, user stories. When in doubt, communicate with your team leader. Always use the test chart for that, for global questions, and definitely consider user perspective, because we test in manual exploratory testing. A TestIO means we test as close as end users, as close as real users will use a product. So the closer you test, like a normal person will use a product, the better, and it will yield to the best results for your test. You will make the most out of your testing. So I hope this has been helpful, and let's go with examples. This is the fun part, I believe.
Yeah, I guess it is the main and really, as Charlie said, fun part. Thank you very much, Charlie, for your presentation. And now I'm passing the board to Bruna, and I will show you examples. It will be video examples. Um, And please, after each example, there will be a question, so you may use Menti, your mobile phones, to answer these questions and interact with us. So, Bruna, please, we are starting, and now it is the first example on the stage.
Hey everyone, let's go to the examples now. We have 5 examples for you to watch the screencasts and tell us what you think it is. We'll have 3 choices for you to choose on Mentimeter. So please answer there so we can discuss this later. Let's go to the example number 1.
Sorry, not started as I see. Let me try to remove and upload them again. Just 1 second. So video.
We already have some questions on the chat. That's good. That's good. We will cover them at the end. Yeah, Q&A. It's a barrier, probably.
Yeah.
By the
Oh,
way, now everything is fine with this video, and
Yeah.
I will run it twice at least.
Sure. So here we have an example of a product which is a LED earring. And then on this video, we can see that the product has 2 images when we watch it, when we see it at the first part of the video. And then let's see it again, please. Yes, that's the earring. We see at the left there that there is 2 images. Yes, but when we add it to the cart, there is another image of a woman there. So what do you guys think? Is it a bug? Is it a content? Is it a visual? Is it not a bug? Let's see who answered that right.
oh, I like this screencast a lot. It was big, really.
Yeah, it's really helpful to see some examples. Oh,
Mm.
already have. Okay, someone thinks it's a visual, not a bug. Remember that there is another image. Is it the image according to the product or not? We have several answers. Mm, yeah, I think we have the answers. So, guys, uh, can I say the answer right now, Edith? Yeah. Oh, that's good. So the answer is not a bug. When we watch the video again, we can see that this image is a woman wearing the earring. So it is product related. So it's not a bug. And that's the only reason why it's not a bug, because it is part of the product. There is a woman wearing the earring, so it's not a bug. So it's not content, not visual, not a bug at all. So congrats for those who answered right. That's why it's not a content too. And example number 2, let's see the screencasts. So here in example number 2, we have this functionality of live and preview, where we can see how it would look like in some device. In this case, it's an Android and tablet. So what the tester was trying to say is that when they click the full screen button, then it should be like only full screen in that area, which has the highlighted shape. But when the user clicks on the full screen, it goes on the full screen for the whole device where the user is testing, right? So, do you think that this should only be full screen on the preview? Is it a bug if it is the full screen on the device, on the user's device? What do you guys think? Not a bug? Is it a low bug? What do you think it is? Their full screen. I can say that that's a little confusing when I first saw that, but that's
It's
something we
confusing.
always do.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's in
So should
between
it be like,
is user expectations there. No, maybe.
yeah, yeah, because it is a preview where we are expecting that the full screen will show us how it should be for the user. Okay, we have not a bug, we have visual. Nobody thinks it's a content yet. Come on, guys, let's answer a little more. It's tied at the moment. Nobody's gonna untie it. So, yeah, not a bug. That's not a bug because when we are trying to test the full screen button, we have to maximize the video. We are using a real video on the real video player there. So when we use the full screen button, the video will be like any other video. It will match the full screen of the device that is being tested. So of course it will be the full screen of the desktop, in this case of the tester. So it's not a bug because it's just as expected to be a full screen button. So not a bug. So example number 3. We have that video where we write something, and the first letter is an A. When we write it, it's in capital letter, the A, but when the user saves it, it becomes a lowercase letter. So is it a bug? Is it not a bug? Is it visual? Is it low? Is it not a bug again? What do you guys think? Because what we're expecting there, almost said the answer. Content, low, okay, okay. Content, okay. Let's see if somebody, ooh, low. We have most answers on low. Yes, the answer is low. Okay, because the functionality is not is not it's not an intended behavior to be like a capital letter turned into a lowercase letter, but it's not that it's not working. It is working, but it's a low functional bug because the letter should be as the user writes. So it's a low bug. Somebody answered content after, but it's a low bug. Okay, example number 4. So here we have the account button. You can see there that when the user clicks it, it disappears. Should it be, uh, let's see it again. There, the account button, when it clicks, it disappears, but it's still working, but it disappears. What do you guys think it is? It is not a bug. Is it visual? Is it low? Okay, somebody says visual. 3 visual. Okay, not a bug. Interesting. Visual. Low. Ooh, okay. Let's see what the answer is. So this is a visual bug because the icon disappears, but the functionality is not affected because the button still works. It's just that the icon disappears. So it can be easily fixed through HTML and CSS files. But since the function is working, so it's just a visual bug. Most of you got that correctly. And last example. So there we have the promo. We have the same promo, D2199, and it appears 2 times. Is it a duplicate? Is it a content related issue? Is it not a bug? What do you guys think? Since they're duplicated, are they duplicated? Let's vote. Not a bug. Content. Great. Nobody thinks it's a visual. Content. Great. A lot of answers. And the answer is content. Oh, sorry. The answer is not a bug because we have when we see. Can you return to the video, please, Irina? Because when we truly watch the video, we have there up there regular promo, and when we go to the bottom one, it's exclusive offers for you. And so it's a separated offer. So one is for general users, and the second one is for the user that's on the website at the moment. So it's not a bug. Okay, sorry I said it wrongly, but now it's not a bug. Okay, so that was our last example. Hope it was fun for you guys to try to imagine what it was. And now we go back to Charlie with Q&A. Send him questions, he will answer. Thank you,
Yeah.
Irina, Charlie.
Thank you very much, Bruna. Very interesting
Yeah.
examples, and as all
Mm.
we all can see, it is very difficult to like find out if it is bug, if it is content or
Yeah,
visual bugs, and different people see it differently. So I think that these examples really could help our testers in future to identify is it bug or not. Yeah, and yes, now
absolutely.
it is Q&A time, and I'm passing the word again to Charlie. So please, Charlie.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's hit the road. So, Real Bug, these are questions from you, from testers that we collected beforehand, so we could discuss a little longer on this topic. Has a real bug ever reflected a mistake on the document object model or the DOM? Well, first of all, we need to understand what the DOM is, what is its role in web development and browsers. And the DOM is only the HTML part. Then we have another part, which is the CSS. And with that, we have to understand that every browser has a different engine for to use JavaScript. So if we let it like this, like just with the HTML, which is just a document of it's an object because every part we see parts, most parts, those are called objects. Could be text, could be tags, could be links. Those are objects for this document. So we think that if we call it the DOM, it would be only the HTML part, and we are forgetting the other parts, the CSS, how they are combined together. The JavaScript, which is the one that is help making this element, this object interactive. So I would say no. It's not reflected there. I would say no because it's not only there. It's we have to think it in conjunction. We have to think it integrated. The HTML, CSS, and JavaScript at minimum, and then for that, that's why modern browsers have dev tools. And for that, we have a collection on our academy that we will share after the Q&A, where you can find these specific tabs we can use for manual exploratory testing, how to use them, and examples. So we cannot see them only on the HTML DOM, but we can definitely see them if we go and use these dev tools. We can absolutely see most of it, or even gather more information that could tell us how the database was, what is the problem with the APIs, for instance, what is expected to come from the server, and what is rendered by the browser. This is also why we have to we do cross browser testing, because browsers differ on how they interpret these documents, especially the HTML DOM. So uh, for these questions, I would say no, exact because it's not HTML only, but yes, if we consider that these HTML objects they have a specific way to show up, to display on your screens, and for that we have CSS, another way to make it interactive, so which is JavaScript. If we combine them all, I would say most likely yes, we will see everything with DevTools. Okay, next one, please, Irina. Next question. Functional bugs and how to determine their severity and how to determine if the app website behavior is intended or about, well, this was all about this. But just we let these questions because this also help us see how we are making questions. If we make good questions, we get better answers. So functional bugs, how to determine their severity, and then what's a bug and what is not a bug. Both are completely different things. If we are going to severity, is because we already identify a functional bug. If we are going to what is intended behavior or a bug, that's another thing. So we let these questions because if you think about it, and for our work, we need to be very analytic. We have to understand components. We have to understand processes. We have to think of what things are connected. So being analytical or trying to understand what is the relationship between things or among many things that help us get better testing. So for this question, we will have the entire workshop, but please consider that these are two different things. Functional severity and bug or not is they are two different worlds. And for severity, you will find we will share as well an article that is how on the Academy. It's called "How to Select the Correct Severity of a Bug." We also offer 3 very easy questions to answer before you go into that, considering that you already found a functional bug. And these questions are very simple. What is the purpose of the functionality you are testing? What is the impact on you as a user or the business? And finally, if there is a workaround to to bypass the problem, and if this workaround is easy and is intuitive, then you will find that most of them will lead you to select low severity. So you can see that from severity, which is a bug, to not a bug or intended behavior, two different things in combined here. Next question, please. In cases where a reporter issue is marked as not a bug, what are some key indicators or steps I can follow to determine beforehand if an issue is likely to be rejected? Could you provide some examples to help about these rejections? We already did that, fortunately, but we already gave this, showed you some 4 ways to avoid this, and mostly you have to go to what is this, what is the functionality under testing, and then compare with the documentation. And for documentation, it's features and user stories, the test scope as well. And if you still have some questions, we have the test chart and our team leaders to help us out. Next question, please. While doing testing, we do not get documented requirements, how to identify which are bugs, or if it's a requirement just to avoid rejection of bugs. This is very true, but we have to start by saying that what we do is called black box testing. Black box testing or menu exploratory testing. Those are synonym of testing without requirements, testing without knowing how things were designed, implemented. So we don't have those, but we have some, which is I already mentioned the scope of the test. That was our first workshop. Is what is expected with the test, what features are under the scope, how they are called is telling us what they expect them to be. how they expect them to behave for testers, so for you end users. So to avoid rejections, one of the key strategic techniques is go back to the features and what these user stories are aimed to test at, and that will help you. That will help, always help, not only you team leaders also do this. We all are on the same page when it comes to requirements, or probably team leaders have a little more insight from customers, but what is on the test is our documentation. Next, please. Oh, okay. Some websites show above the search results, oh, this is cool, this is a scenario real. If there is only one result, one products, there is an S at the end, like there are multiple results. Please, I will really want you to think about it and give some answer on the chat, because I believe you get what is happening in this question, and you have the answer for sure. So yes, at the end, like there are multiple, same can happen at the card. The effect is wrong grammar, but since the programmer would need to implement any kind of code to make a difference between single and plural to show one product without S and two products with S, I am wondering if we can submit it as a content block things. What do you think? I want to ask you, because this, by now, from after the onboarding, this should be clear, like for all of us. And it would be cool if we can just clear out. Is it a bug can be submitted as a content bug? Any quick answers from you? The effect is wrong grammar. We can first, yes, thank you, Sue. Yes, first is not a bug. We cannot have like realistically, we cannot implement two different components to just count one, to just count units, and then tens, and then hundreds. That's not how it goes. You have one. Remember that in the previous workshop we talked about components and model software development, and we need to make it scalable, and debugging should be easier, so we don't have each thing is not a piece of code. Most of them are just a fragment of the code that is making things for us. So it's not just one piece, one code. No, it's usually one code, many pieces, many objects in these terms of DOM, HTML DOM. So this is first is not a bug. This is probably expected, and or just it doesn't matter as far as this is a counter. The functionality was designed to count items on whatever it is this feature, this page. And second, this is the answer is in the question. Is grammar related? And no, we don't. Is more like spelling related. So no, we don't submit bugs about this. This is not a content bug on our platform. It is probably it is wrong. Probably we expect to read it in a human way, but it's not. We cannot. This is an out of scope bug for content bugs. We don't. We cannot accept this, unfortunately. For most exploratory testing tests, please remember that we have different, many kinds of tests, and there are tests about content, and they want us to compare, for instance, to compare scripts. If the script says two two products, but we see one product, so then the documentation is what the expectation from the customer is telling us that it should be an S or not. and then we compare, and if we found that discrepancy that differs, so definitely it's a bug for that particular test. But for most tests, exploratory testing, we cannot accept them as a content bug. They are not, they are bugs out of scope, so they should not be submitted. So next, please. Is in a test cycle, I have seen a tester. Oh, this is cool because it happened to me in the beginning too many times. In a test cycle, I have seen a tester submitted about report. The reason was during sign up on the phone number field, user can type special characters. The bug was approved by team leader in a different test cycle for different project. I have uploaded the same type of bug, but the team leader said it is an usability issue, not a bug. What should I do in such situation? This is really cool because it happened to me several times until I understand what was the problem. The problem is the approach, how we test. First, when we are testing input validation, we need to prove that it's implemented and how it was implemented. If the field like this one, phone number, the phone number field user can, they can input some special characters in the phone number field where you expect to see only numbers. So this is the problem here. Now, most phone numbers, because there are different formats around the world, are not a number type. Actually, they are text type. So that's why they accept special characters. However, if there is a specific implementation, an input validation that triggers when you enter some specific character, let's say the pound character, you enter there in somewhere in the text, in the number, and then it triggers a validation telling you you can only use this, and that special character, and then you test all the characters that are not listed, and the validation is not shown, is not triggered, then that's a bug because if you are not using, you are using different characters there. The implementation should consider these other characters, and that's probably because the first tester proved that there is a validation that should that is not working with all possible characters. So it's a flaw in the validation. It's a problem validation. Then the team leader accepted. But then if we just go there and we just see a form and just some numbers, characters, letters, everything, and recorded and submitted as a bug, we are not proving anything. We are, and that's why is considered usability, because it could be a good idea to have a well database from users, like the user phone is only the phone, it's only a phone number, the address is a real address, the zip code is 5 digits, 4 digits, not 10. That could be, that's desirable to have, but if we don't prove it, and that's the key part, you can go to our academy and you just type look up for validation, and you will find how to test input validation with email, and you apply the same testing procedure to any type of form. And the key is identify the validation, how it was implemented, what it's telling you to input or not, and then you go and test it out. Otherwise, it's not proven, and that's why this case happened to this test, unfortunately. So I just recommend to first double check how that acceptable was documented, go to the screencast and see what the steps were and how they were executed, and what is how the website or the app is behaving against the input, and then you will see where was the difference between the usability suggestion rejection reason. Next, please. I have one more question, probably the same. Some testers submit bug reports like in login form, the user failed to log in, but an appropriate error message doesn't show up. Yes, the team lead approved the bug in a different cycle. As I submitted a similar issue this time, I got rejected. And again, the reason was it was a usability issue, not a bug. How can I decide if it's a UI or a bug? Well, first, it's not related to the user interface. If a validation is related to is JavaScript related. UI is mostly CSS, and most likely what I'm thinking what is happening here is the system is triggering an error because of this failing to log in. But the, I cannot tell exactly what kind of for this and for bug reports. You should always add how is the error exactly how it is shown, because this is telling us what the developers thought about the issue. They know that if it's written in language, human language, then it is expected. This was planned. It was planned to happen, and then it's not a real bug actually. But if it's just a code error 372, then that's not telling us much. And then in this case is where we can accept this as a usually low severity bug, because it's communication, user system communication related. It's just a code. It's not. There is a problem, but it's not telling us exactly what is happening, what went wrong, and how to fix the problem. So in that case is when we accept these bugs. But in other cases, more elaborated bug error messages, or make them pretty, or whatever it is. If the error is telling us that it is something is just the fail to log in is clearly telling us what the problem is. So if we address the error as is in this question, then the problem is related to JavaScript. But this and that's again with errors and validation system, we need to any other scenario that seems odd, we need to prove that there is a validation implemented. The same piece of same component, same feature behaves differently or provides a different, more elaborated error. If we prove that that is inside the website or in the environment, then we can submit it as a bug, and it should be forwarded to the customer so they understand that this is happening. But without proving, it is, I mean, we have to always, that's why it's called documentation of a bug. We have to document everything that is happening, and basically prove that it's really a bug, prove them wrong in the implementation. Yes, it's very confusing, the wording, but I'm trying to make some sense of based on also I experienced the same when I started testing. So the key is always proven, is the proof, showing the proof of what we are saying is about. Okay, next please. When the issue is of the type bug, okay, yes, just for true bugs, can it be easily fixed, and isn't that better than rejecting the bug? This is referred to one of the first things we start discussing is why we cannot change the type of bug on our bug reports. Well, that's the architecture. That's how our platform was designed. So it's not a bug. It was just thought differently, was implemented differently. And the easy fix is just to resubmit the bug and submit it with the correct type that is always mentioned in the rejection, I think. Thank you, Rina. This is the last one, the last question from the poll. But we have
Yes.
some on the comments on the chat.
Yes, thank you, Charlie. We had one comment in the chat,
Oh,
I guess, but it was not related to bug or not topic of
oh,
today's workshop. But I can show this question. Maybe we can ask, yeah. And the question is, do you have a specific times to send invitation to testers, or you just send anytime? So I can
mm,
say that we have a lot of customers, and all customers they set up tests for different times. So I can say that the invitation can be sent anytime per day. So yeah, maybe guys, you have any comments on it?
I do, because
Mm-hmm.
this is very important, and it also links to the previous workshops, and is why features are different from what we are seeing on the test environment. Why they differ? What some parts are. We have recurrent tests. Why sometimes they are is the same description. Well, and this is how it works. Customers go on the platform, and most of them um, set set up their tests themselves. So whenever the time they want to start sending invitations is when it's happening. There is no control. That is it's up to customers when they want to run and when they want results. Of course, everything depends on their development process and the schedules. So it's up to them, and it happens every day, every time, 7 days a week, all the time. So that's why it's like that, up to customers.
So yes, seems that we don't have any more questions. And I really hope that this workshop was very, very useful for testers. Yeah, and we would like all of you to evaluate a bit, give your feedback to us about this workshop. It would be great to have your opinion. And yeah, if you have something, some comments of how we can improve such workshops, or maybe which events you would like us to introduce in future, how to improve the communication, please feel free to reach all of us in Discord or in chats on YouTube. We will be happy to read your comments, to receive your feedbacks, and act according to such feedbacks. Okay, guys. So seems that it is maybe all. Thank you very much for participating in this event. I hope that in future we will have even more workshops, but it was the last one from this series. Thank you, Bruna, Charlie, for your partnership, for preparing such a great presentations. And maybe you have some last words to share.
Yeah, I just want to thank you everyone that participated. It was a fun workshop. It had a lot of information, and I really enjoyed participating. And I hope everybody learned as much as we did. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us at Discord or here on the comments on the chat. We're always available. So thank you, Irina and Charlie. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you very much. I already shared the links we used, we mentioned here, useful for all of you. I hope this workshop helped you a lot in your testing journey, and see you on Discord, test cycles, wherever we get the chance to meet. Let's discuss testing. I'm really passionate about this, so please just tag me there, add me somewhere. I not promise to answer right away, but I always answer. So thank you so much for tuning in, team. And thank you, Rina and Bruna, for being with me here tonight.
So thank you again, guys, and have a good day, night, as you wish. So see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.